Hello my dear students, welcome back to a new video of Sunanda's tutorial. So in this video I will discuss about the ecology, basic principle of ecology. So it is the part 1 video of ecology class. So let's start. First of all, in introduction, the term ecology was first used by Ernst Haeckel in 1869. That means he was the first who coined or used this term ecology. And from where he derived this term? From a Greek word in which oikos means home and logos means study. So ecology is the study of home or environment where we live. Ecology deals with the study of organisms in their natural home or habitat, interacting with their surrounding or environment. So, what is the definition of ecology? The scientific study of the relationships of living organisms with each other and with their environment is known as ecology. Then Alexander von Humboldt is the father of ecology, and he was the first who studied about the relationship between organism with their environment. In our India, Professor Ramdev Misra laid the foundation of ecology and environmental science. So he was called as the father of Indian ecology. What is ecosystem then? Ecosystem is a self-regulating group of biotic communities of species interacting with one another. What is biotic group? A group of living organisms living together, interacting with each other, and the relationship of this biotic community with their non-living environment and exchanging energy and matter. Now ecology often defined as the study of ecosystems. So ecology is a broad term and it consists of many ecosystems, and the study of various ecosystems is known as ecology. Then ecosystem is a unit which is composed of number of subunits that are all directly and indirectly linked with each other. Then basic concept of ecology. There are 4 basic concepts of ecology. The first one is holism, second ecosystem, then succession, then conservation. Holism means it is the idea that all property of a given system cannot be determined or explained by its component alone. So here is an example where it is mentioned that a random collection of tissues, suppose blood, muscles and other connective tissues, do not make a heart. These tissues must interact in a particular way to form that organ. So in ecosystem, many subunits are there. So these subunits or these organisms of an ecosystem must interact in a specific way to form a particular ecosystem. Then what is ecosystem? A community of living organisms in a particular area, where eco refers to the part of the world and system refers to a coordinating units. An ecosystem is a community of organisms and their physical environment interacting with each other. Then ecological succession. What is ecological succession? It is a constant and gradual change in species of a given area with respect to changing environment. Then what is conservation ecology? It is a branch of ecology and evolutionary biology which deals with the preservation and management of biodiversity and natural resources. We have to use or consume the resources in a sustainable way. We have to preserve these natural resources for our future generations. Then the components of environment or ecosystem. Then in ecosystem there are 2 types of components. One is biotic component, one is abiotic components. Biotic components means all the living organisms present in an ecosystem, And what is abiotic component? Abiotic components are the group of non-living organisms present in an ecosystem. So let's discuss about the biotic components first. The biotic components are of following categories. One is producers. These are mainly producing food by themselves, and for example green plant produce food by photosynthesis in presence of sunlight from raw materials like water and carbon dioxide. So they are known as the photoautotrophs, and there are some chemoautotrophs which are a group of bacteria producing their food from oxidation of chemical, for example sulfur bacteria. So they are the producers of the ecosystem and which can produce their own food by themselves. For example, green plants. Green plants are always the producers because they have the capability to produce their own food, because they have the chlorophyll pigment, and in the presence of sunlight and using raw materials like water from the soil and the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, they prepare their own food. Then chemoautotroph, they use various chemicals, for example sulfur bacteria, green sulfur bacteria, etc. Then consumer, these organisms get their food by feeding on other organisms. For example herbivores, which feed on plants. That means they only consume green plants. For example rabbit and insect, and they are known as herbivores. And which feed on herbivores are called carnivores or secondary consumer. So then omnivores, which feed both on plant and animals. For example human, we can eat vegetables, we can also eat meat, chicken, so we are omnivorous. Then there is another group which is known as detrivores, which feed on the dead organisms like earthworm, crab, ants. So under detrivorous, decomposers are there. Decomposers, which are mainly bacteria and fungi, which help to break down the organic matter into inorganic compound, and in this process they derive their nutrition. They play important role in converting essential nutrients from unavailable organic form to free inorganic form that is available for the use of the plant. And the main decomposers are bacteria and fungi. Then abiotic component. There are many physicochemical components of the ecosystem which constitute the abiotic component. Some physical component like sunlight, solar intensity, rainfall or precipitation, temperature, wind direction, water availability, soil texture. Then various chemical component like the major essential nutrients like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and micronutrient like iron, molybdenum, zinc, copper, salts, toxic substance like pesticide which are present mainly in soil. These physicochemical factors of water, air and soil play important role in ecosystem functioning. Then levels of organization of ecology. The levels of organization are divided into following headings. At first, the living organism or individual organism, single and maybe of any type of living organism. It is a basic level. Then living organism in a group or interacting group forms population. Then different types of population interacting with each other at a particular geographical area forms a community. Then living organism interact with their physical environment, interconnected with different population, transfer energy and material between them are called as ecosystem. So living organism forms a population, many population forms community, and many community which are interconnected with each other, transferring energy and material between them are known as ecosystem. Then what is Autecology and what is Synecology? Their ecological studies are based on three principles. One is habitat, One is taxonomic group and level of organization. And depending upon the consideration of ecological unit as either individual or group of organism, the level of organization may be Autecology or Synecology. First of all, principles like habitat, taxonomic group and level of organization. Habitat means where organisms live, their natural home, and taxonomic group means species. Many species constitute a genus, many genus constitute a family. So likewise there are taxonomic group. Then level of organization, individual organism group to form a population, then many population forms a community, then many community interacting with each other and with their environment forms a ecosystem. So these are level of organization. And depending on the consideration of ecological unit, one unit of ecology, either it is an individual organism or a group of organisms, it is known as Autecology or Synecology. What is Autecology? It is the study of interaction between an individual with its environment. It is known as Autecology or ecology of individual. Autecology, at a given time we study the influence of individual's reaction to its natural environment or requirements together and effects of its interacting environment. Suppose one in simple words, how an individual organism or single species interact with its natural environment. Individual species contribute as unit of Autecology study. So in Autecology we study the details of the morphology of individual affected by its prevailing environment, its geographical distribution based on surrounding. Then example, for instance, the influence of change of temperature of surrounding can highly influence the life cycle or developmental stage of individual. For example, lizard, crocodile and several reptiles can hatch their eggs and sex of the baby is determined by temperature at the time of hatching. The best and classical example is provided by Darwin's finches of Galapagos Island. Darwin, zoologist who went on a voyage, very finely observed the Galapagos Island and revealed that the bird habituating that island or live in that island called finches differ in shape and size of their beak, clearly indicating that different finches habituating different area and feeding on different vegetations evolved to survive and develop beak of different size and shape. So here he only observed about the finches, about bird species. So it is known as Autecology. And the influence of environmental factors on that big size, on their big size. So it is the Autecology. Another example include adaptation of environment adaptation of organism to higher altitude. At higher altitude, due to higher pressure, there is less availability of oxygen to body tissue. So the individual adapt to its developing higher number of RBCs, which can effectively and with high affinity bind to the oxygen molecule through hemoglobin, while individual living in plain areas are susceptible to sudden change in oxygen level and pressure, can be attacked by hypoxia condition. So here only we study about the individual organism and the effect of environmental factor on individual organism. Then what is Synecology? Synecology, here we study about a group of organism. We study about the effect on a group. Synecology can be divided into population, community ecology, biome and ecosystem ecology. Example is a side effect of acid rain on pond ecosystem. So in pond ecosystem, the flora and fauna present in the pond directly affected by the acid rain. So here in Synecology, the whole group is affected by any type of environmental factor. Another example is the Gauss principle derived concept of resource partitioning, where organisms of different species compete for the same resource, for example food, space, and thereby leading to partitioning of resources or habitat. Here a group of organisms compete with each other for the same food, same space. So it is all about Autecology and Synecology. It is the part 1 video of ecology. In my next video I will discuss about the ecosystem in details, then the structure of atmosphere, components of atmosphere, then hydrosphere, then lithosphere. So stay tuned and enjoy my videos like this. Thank you.